Hey guys, Mrs. Yeagle again. I'd like to finish reading chapter 14 for you. This starts on page 148. I'm right at the middle. Addison surveyed the massive stone blocking their path. "It doesn't make sense," he declared. "Whoever built this booby trap, it wasn't Sir Frederick. He was only here a short time and he would have been half dead from an arrow wound." "So, who set the trap?" asked Eddie. Before Addison could offer a theory, Molly shushed him. The distinctive purr of Madame Fing's voice carried along the echoing walls of the stone tunnels, followed by the low grunts of triads. "They'll have a hard time catching us in this maze," said Eddie hopefully. "Not even we know where we are." "We'll be easy to find," said Molly, holding up Raj's fishing line. "We're leaving a trail everywhere we go." "Well, we can't ditch the thread," said Addison. "We need to be able to make a fast exit." He frowned, thinking. Sir Frederick wanted a fellow Templar knight to find his clues. So which direction would a Templar knight go? "The Templar symbol," said Molly. "The rays of the sun go in all directions, but the eye is at the center." Addison took his flashlight back from Molly and shined it down the passageway, illuminating the next 30 feet. "You think all these passageways meet in the center, like the spokes of a wheel?" Molly shrugged. "It's just an idea." Addison heard triad voices down the tunnel behind him. "Well, it's the best idea we've got." He set off down the corridor. Every time a smaller tunnel branched left, Addison chose the larger tunnel branching right. The tubes grew progressively bigger. Every so often, Raj would point out a tripwire and they would step carefully over it. At last they arrived at a large junction where all the passageways met in a central terminal. "Not too shabby, Mo." Molly was not one to rest on her laurels. She was already scanning the mica-speckled walls. "There it is! An eye scratched into the stone!" Addison pointed his flashlight at a staring eye carved into the side of a pillar. "The eye is looking this way," he said, pointing to the opposite wall. He crossed to a casket nestled in a rocky nook. "It's level with this coffin. Come on, quickly!" Raj was at Addison's side, heaving at the coffin's sealed lid. Addison wedged his butterfly knife under the wooden planks and pried upward. The long, rusted nails squeaked, splitting from the ancient timber. There could be a dead person in there," said Eddie, astonished to see how quickly his friends had turned into grave robbers. Raj gripped the coffin lid and put his back into it, deadlifting with all his strength. He was only 5'2" and 90 pounds. With a creak and a groan, the lid yielded to Raj's willpower. Raj overbalanced and toppled over. Addison set the wooden lid on its side. When he cast the flashlight beam inside the musty casket, his breath caught in his throat. He stared reverently into the coffin, his expression filled with wonder. "Who is it?" asked Eddie. "What is it?" asked Molly. "The sword of Sir Frederick," said Addison, "hidden for 800 years. That's the end of chapter 14. And we talked today in class about how oftentimes fiction books can have some facts in them, especially adventure fiction like Addison Cooke. And in this chapter, they talk about the Templar Knights and the secret organization in medieval times of these knights. And that's an example of fact coming through in this fictional piece. And so even though this story is fiction, it has to be rooted in some bit of fact to make the adventure portion realistic and true. And so that's one of those examples. All right, soon to be chapter 15, so keep reading. Bye, guys.